Oh yeah. Ooh, fighting for my life on those last reps there. Good morning. Man, is it a cold one out here. It's like 20 degrees outside, or maybe even less than that. Yeah, 28 actually. I overestimated how cold it was, but still, absolutely cold out here. Got the heater on, getting it a little warmer in here. It's getting there, slowly but surely. But we've got a push day today, so we're gonna push right on into it. We're not gonna waste any time with our warm up here, getting nice and warm. That's gonna help us get warm, that's for sure. Quick update on the cut and everything else. So far, I'm feeling pretty good this week. Yesterday, I kept the calories right where they needed to be. I think within about 100, and no complaints there. Honestly, I rotated my meals around a bit so that I was eating more in the late morning and early afternoon, as well as around noon, to kind of give me a little bit more during the day. I had planned to eat in the late afternoon, but unfortunately my meeting schedule did not pan out for that yesterday, which was unfortunate. But that was okay. I wasn't suffering or starving or anything like that by the time we got to dinner. Dinner itself was a welcome retreat, but I wasn't really like dying for it. So all is well there. My hamstring yesterday, I noted, was sore, and for the most part, yesterday it was fine. Woke up this morning though, and it's feeling really tight, really tight. So this is exactly what happened the last time, about probably 1 to 2 months back at this point, and it was all completely caused from the spinning bike. I don't know why. I've tried looking it up. I've got the seat adjusted the right way. I don't know exactly what it could be, but last time I ended up taking 3 to 5 days off of spinning cardio, and that solved it. If you've got any ideas on what it could be with regards to how I'm seated on that spinning bike or using that spinning bike, let me know in the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. But I've tried looking it up, and I'll probably look some more today, but I couldn't find much. The unfortunate part is that that's the only thing I have for cardio right now. I've wanted to get a stair stepper for a long time, and I never have been able to get one for a variety of reasons, mostly due to the space limitations. They're tall machines, most of them. But I've been looking into getting one of these Bowflex ones for a while now. These Bowflex M6s, 3s, 5s, those ones, that they're basically the form factor of an elliptical, but they're a stair stepper. So I might put a little bit more serious thought in looking into getting a used one of those here sometime soon, because not being able to do any cardio, at least at home, is definitely a detriment. I could go out and go running, but I don't even have running shoes, so it's not really an option for me at this point. But enough lamenting about that. Let's get over here and do some lateral raises and get this workout started and get warmed up. All right. Time for some behind the back lateral raises. These have been pretty good to me lately. Starting off with moderate weight, just to get a little bit warmed up here before we really kick it into high gear with the working sets. But I've been really enjoying these ones from a movement standpoint. It's good. All right, not bad there. We end up doing these pretty light overall anyway. Only going up to 20 pounds for working sets. And we're warming up with 10 already. So we're not going to be spending a lot of time doing much more warm-up. We'll do one more set of these here just to keep everything moving and grooving. But after this, we're going to get right into our working set and kick things off. Nice. I don't know why it felt smoother after I put this extension on there. Get a little bit further out so that we're not banging the cable down when we're slamming it back. Okay. That's feeling great, honestly. Shoulders feel good. Everything is working well, which I am thankful for. Didn't have the worst sleep last night, but didn't have the best sleep either. So I was a little bit disappointed this morning for that. Now, with that said, though, I was really looking forward to today's workout. Even last night I was like thinking about filming it, all that stuff. Getting pretty excited. So we're gonna enjoy this one, that's for sure. We're gonna absolutely destroy it. All right, let's go. Nice. Oh, that's a great weight for us. 20 pounds. That's fantastic. I was really looking forward to today's workout. I'm not entirely sure why. I had a good one yesterday. Had a fairly good day overall yesterday too. But towards the end of the day, I really started getting amped thinking about this morning's workout, which is great. It's certainly better than the opposite, where you're really trying to drag yourself and forcing yourself out there. That's never those aren't fun, but those are the most necessary workouts. It's when you're not wanting to go, when you're dreading it, when you're wanting to half-ass it, not feeling it. Those are the most important ones to get out there for, to earn your progress. Let's earn some progress right here. Whew. I mentioned a while ago how I just discovered these behind the back raises, I don't know, a month or two back. And man, have I been loving them. And this holds true. I absolutely love this exercise for my shoulders. Oh, that's great. I'm not entirely sure what it is about that exercise that I love so much, but it just feels perfect. Especially first thing here in the morning where I'm warming up still, getting all the muscles moving, alive, awake. It's 5 a.m., 5:13, and we've been up for just over half an hour. So our body's still definitely in that wake-up phase. It's definitely being expedited by the workout, the pre-workout. I don't take caffeine with it, but it still helps get things moving. That's for sure. But it's just a fantastic, not crazy heavy weight, good stretch, great contraction exercise. And I'm really enjoying the movement itself. I'm not sure what the behind the back adds for me, but it's adding something compared to just a regular lateral raise. All right, this is our last set. We're gonna do some myo reps again. For those of you unfamiliar, means we're gonna complete our set, give it 3 to 4 seconds, try to rep out as many more as we can, and then do one more set. Same exact thing, waiting 3 to 4 seconds. Ideally, we're not doing more than 3 or 4 during those extra sets. If we are, then we probably didn't do enough during our actual first working set here. But that's okay, not the end of the world. We're just gonna literally rep out however many we can get during the myo phase. Here we go. That's it. Oh boy. Okay. That's fantastic. All right. Okay. Let's do the same thing on the other side now. Okay, one more, come on. That's it. Oh, man. Oh. Great exercise. I love those myo reps. You can really tell yourself what you actually got done there, how much you actually achieved. And I think it gives you the ability to really not leave anything left for the taking. You give it that second, a couple of seconds, and then you come back at it, repping out as hard as you can. And you saw, I was barely getting partials by the end there, but that's okay. Like, we're still working that muscle, even when we're not, getting very high here. Now, I've talked about this before too. It's perfectly acceptable to not have picture-perfect reps every single set, every single rep. In fact, towards the end of them, if they're not looking a little gross, a little ugly, maybe we're not working hard enough. But I say that, and I want to call it specifically that towards the end there component. Towards the end of those last sets of that exercise you're doing, not every set, not every rep. If every set and every rep looks like that, well, you're not doing something right. You're not being optimal here. So let's not just ego lift. Let's not just grab a bunch of weight and ego lift it and do too much and our form is trash. There's a time and place for some trash form, bad form, deteriorated form. Over the course of a couple sets, we expect our form to deteriorate a little bit. That's perfectly acceptable. But if every single one of your sets looks ugly and the form's not great, you got to reevaluate what you're doing. Maybe you're doing too much weight. Maybe the form itself is bad. Maybe it's both of those things. Take a look, bring it inside, ask someone else for feedback, and get the guidance you need to make the changes that are going to be the best for you. All right, time for some chest press. I'll see you there. All right, that's moving pretty nice. I've got the arms articulating here so they can move freely. I like to be able to kind of push it in at an angle when I'm doing these. You get, I think, an amazing contraction here in your chest. And I love that. The problem is if I lock them in, I have a very hard time getting under the arm here. The handle comes like right into where my chest is. And unfortunately, I don't really have too much more readily available movement with regards to like where I put my seat or where I'm locking the arms at, due to the fact that I use my safety spotter arms as a backrest for my seat. If I don't do that, the seat and my body will just push itself back once the weight gets up into these kind of numbers here. So we're working within our limitations. All in all, I could lock the arms in to kind of make it a fixed plane of movement and not give it this side to side. But it's not that big a deal, honestly. I still have the stability that the arms themselves are providing. And it allows me to get into this position a whole heck of a lot easier to get underneath this weight here. So we're going to get right up to our working weight here and start cranking out some reps. Okay, yeah, got a little squirrely there at the end. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fix these in for this next set and just deal with it. Get underneath that weight. But I don't like how squirrely that was. It took away a lot, honestly. Since you can see what I got to do is kind of like rotate underneath it, get kind of out of the way with my arm. And once we got one under there, we're basically pinned, but we're good to go. We're not even going to wait for the timer on this countdown. I wasn't happy with that set, so we're going to go right back into this. Okay. Oh. All right. Now I feel like we earned something there. The weight is definitely too much at the moment, so we're gonna drop it down just a little bit. I was a little overzealous with what I did last week versus what I'm going to be capable of this week. So we're going to take this down just a bit. All right, we move the safety arms back one spot, be about 2 inches. We'll see if that makes it any easier to get into the position. I can tell you already, it's not helping with the distance between these two handles, but that's not necessarily the end of the world. If I can get underneath it, it'll make it a bit easier to work with here. We can slide under that. That's so much easier. And I think we're going to still have the same range of motion. So, home gym lessons. Every single time we use this equipment, we learn a little bit more about the best and optimal way to set this stuff up. All right, reduce the weight down, about 15 pounds total. Sorry, 30 pounds total? Yeah. I really want to focus more on the contraction there. I felt like I was focusing more on moving the weight itself versus keeping these reps controlled, slow even. So we're going to try this, 200 total pounds on the arms. We'll see if that allows us to be a little bit more mindful of the actual weight, the actual rep and not the weight, and cranking these out. Let's do it. Oh, that's so much better. Wow. We've got a much better contraction out, and we can really feel it, squeeze it, and let it sit there for a second. And I don't feel like we're fighting to stay under that weight, to keep it controlled. So, glad we locked the arms in. That certainly made a big difference. and then getting the weight into the right spot too has made a huge one. We got 2 more sets. Quick rest, drink water, back at it. I think that's really the lesson to be learned here. Oftentimes we are asked to give advice or criticize the form of newer or inexperienced lifters, and I'm always happy to do that. Love helping out people who are just starting, trying to figure it out, and make real improvements to their performance. But what often gets overlooked, by myself included, or rather is really easy to overlook, is the fact that everyone's body physically is different. The lengths of our different limbs are going to be different. The clearest example for this one is always going to be, for me at least, a squat or even a deadlift. And the mechanics of somebody with really long legs, completely different than me perhaps, or a shorter person. I'm 6'1", pretty average height. I guess that's slightly above average, but average build with regards to the ratio of my limbs. I have pretty wide shoulders, but that doesn't really negatively impact or get in the way of anything. But when we're giving that advice, that help, that coaching, we've got to remember, whether we are the one giving it or we are the one receiving that advice, that there's going to be a degree of maybe. Maybe that'll work for you. Maybe that'll be the best for you. But you've just got to play around with it. I've been doing benches. I've been doing these lever arm movements for years. And I've added accessories to these even as recently as just a couple months ago. So I'm still continually learning a new way to use them and adapt them. And that's okay. Things change. You change, your body changes, and what you need and what you know and learn about yourself is going to change over time too. So just roll with it. See what happens. Try something new. And if it doesn't work, go back to what you were doing. But my advice would be to change one thing at a time. Don't try to change everything at once, because if you try to change it all at once, you're not going to know what actually helped you versus what's just, extra stuff that you don't need. Okay. Let's get some extra stuff we don't need here, huh? Let's go for some extra reps. Oh, okay. All right, on this last set here, we've upped the weight, 10 total pounds, and we're going to, we're not doing anything fancy at the end. You might throw in some myo reps, just depending on how we feel at the end. But I wanted to add 5 more pounds there. I felt like I had a little bit more than I wanted in the tank on that last set. So we're gonna crank out this last one, see how it goes, see how we're feeling. And at the end, if we're feeling a little extra reps, we'll do them. We'll do some myo reps. If not, we'll if we're really just dead there at the end, we won't do them, and that's okay too. After this, we've got some dumbbell flies. I was gonna do cable flies, but I kind of just really want to do dumbbell flies this morning. I'm not sure why. Do some dumbbell flies and continue on with the rest of our workout. Oh yeah. Oh, that's it. That's it. I felt phenomenal. The key with these dumbbell flies is not not really having a full ROM there. Integrated partials, really, on every single set. And rep, that is. You know, you don't want to be bringing, you want to bring your arm down to get that stretch as far as you can. But if you bring it all the way up to here, and you've just got that weight stacked on your shoulder now, that's not doing anything for your chest. So, you know, you bring it to like a little bit further out as compared to this, and now your pec is re-involved again. Your shoulder's not holding all that weight for you and just like let it sit there for a second. So I like to, you know, stop it, I don't know, 5-10 degrees short, stacked over my shoulder, and then just, again, slow, bring it back down and hold it there, and bring it back up. Let's get after it. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Ooh. Fighting for my life on those last reps there. Yeah, that's the key though, is getting nice and deep down here and letting that stretch sit for a second. Let it sit. You know, when you're doing bent over flies, cable flies, or even just general cable flies where you're standing straight up, you don't need to worry about losing that tension or letting it sit too long. You're going to be bringing it up here. I mean, you're going to be pushing it up to get to here. When you're doing dumbbell flies, though, it's the opposite. Gravity's working in the opposite direction. The weight wants to move in the opposite direction, obviously. So you've got to fight it differently than when you're doing a cable pec fly. So work it differently. Alter your form, alter your ROM, your method. It is a different exercise. It's the same type of exercise, but the way you're going to go about it is going to be slightly different there. So we got one more set. We're going to work our ass off to finish these. I can already tell. This is going to be a tough one. We're going to earn it here, though. That's it. Man, you can really see on those last ones, I'm sure. I wasn't really even able to get all the way down into my stretch. Whew. Okay. Time for some tricep work. Let's do some tape presses here with our kettlebells. I'm going to get that set up. All right. We've got 32 and a half on here today. We're going to be cranking these out for our tape presses. I bought these cappers a long time ago on Amazon. Called a DB capper. Just goes on these 1-inch plate things. Whoever made these, they just stopped making them. Like they were available for like a month, I think. So I have two. I know Rogue makes a pair, but I think they're for Olympic dumbbells. So I haven't seen another set like this before anywhere else. I mean, I've tried buying another pair since then. I wanted to get a second set for something. I don't remember what. Clearly, I didn't really need it that bad. And I know I've tried to recommend them to people, and they just haven't been available. So these cappers are nice. I forgot about using them with the kettlebells the last time I did these. It's a huge help because it just provides a nice flat, it's like a silicone plastic surface that's got, no sharp metal points on it. Makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to get these things loaded up. All right, we're going to be cranking these out. We're going to be doing 3 sets. Our last set's going to be a drop set. I've got a 20-pound kettlebell loaded up over here as well. I'm going to try to get some angles here for you as well for both sides. So You're not going to see every single set, but you're going to see both sides of the action, just so you can. People are always wondering how this movement actually works, so I'm going to try to get in as close as I can, so you can actually see the weight and where it's moving. All right. Speaking of weight and moving it, let's do that. All right, drop set time. Here we go. Oh. Oh. All right, those tape presses were awesome. Struggled there on the last few reps of the last set, but that was kind of the point, right? Do a drop set. So, all in all, fantastic. I hope different angles helped showcase just how that movement actually works, and where that weight's going around your head and everything like that. All right, we're gonna finish up with some tricep push downs, and then we're gonna move into some cable crunches here. So let's get after that. Wrap this workout up. Okay. Whew. Hour into this workout and we're actually like getting warm here. Whew. I want to take this off, but I know that'll be a bad idea. So we're just gonna finish this up. Maybe sweat a little bit, but it'll be all right. Now, if I was sweating early in the workout, you know, I was gonna be in it for like an hour, cold and wet. Not great. Not a good idea. Definitely would strip down there. But that's why we wear layers. I've got this, got the dry fit hoodie underneath it, and then a tank top as well. This flannel's from 32 Degrees. Love 32 Degrees clothes. They are stretchy, number one, so you're not getting like caught. I mean, this thing literally stretches like across my back. It's fantastic. They're warm, they're moisture wicking, all that stuff. Honestly, all of their clothes I've been very impressed with, from their socks and underwear to their shirts and pants. Really good stuff, and it's honestly super cheap, which is mildly concerning for a number of reasons. You would think the quality would suffer, but I've only bought, there were some polos I bought that I was slightly disappointed in, but not the build quality. It was just the sizing of it. I'd have to look up the lines, but like there was a polo that would say it was like $10 a polo, and one that was like $7 a polo. The $7 polos fit way differently than the $10 ones. $10 ones fit great, still wear them all the time. The $7 ones though, they've definitely like shrunk a little bit. They're shorter in the torso, the arms are shorter, which is fine, but it's that shorter torso that's just like, what the heck's going on with this? And it just makes the overall package feel tighter. Whereas the regular, I guess they're more premium ones. Those fit wonderfully, they're comfortable, same thing, flexible, breathable polos, all that good stuff. Okay, one more set, we're gonna do a drop set. I've got 75 pounds on here right now, so we're gonna crank out these reps, take off 2 tens, so we'll drop down to 55 pounds, and just crank out what we can from there. Actually, taking off 2 tens might be too much. So I'm actually gonna swap those 10s out for 5s, and we're just gonna drop at 10 total pounds. Give me 1 second there. Okay, got that fixed, let's do this. Drop 10 pounds. And get back at it. All right. Good. Good. All right, y'all. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day ahead of you. I'm going to wrap up with some abs here. Just take it out of the way first. Wrap up with some cable crunches, and then go on and get after my day. I'll see you all again soon.